here it is. I'm going to put this in the middle, and I'm just going to do that. You put your own word around that. Do you call it money? Do you call it wealth? Do you call it finances? Do you call it cash? Whatever it is, I just want you to notice what happens when I put this in the middle of the screen and it refers to your money or wealth or whatever it is that brings up for you. I just want you to notice that. And then I'm going to bring in one that represents you. And I want you to notice what happens when I bring you in and money's here. I want you to notice if you're looking at money. I'm going to call it money, but call it wealth or whatever it is. Are you looking at it? Is it looking at you? Are you far away? Are you really close? Are you like head to head? Are you far away? Are you kind of looking at it from behind? From a distance? I want you to notice how it is for you when you're looking at your money, your finances. I want you to just notice how it feels. Notice everything in your body. I want you to notice if it feels bigger than you. If it feels smaller than you. If it feels the same size as you. I want you to notice. Just notice how it is. And again, I want you to notice how it is if you look at it. But I'm going to give you a little distance. Just notice how it is when you look at it. And I want you to notice if maybe behind you in your family is some story around money. Just bring it forward so you can see. Maybe in your family there was some story around money. Maybe someone lost money, maybe someone got a lot of money and, spent it on, not nice things, or maybe someone had a lot of money and did really, beautiful things with it. Maybe someone had their money taken away. Maybe someone was born into money, someone was born into poverty. Just notice what that is. And notice maybe there's a story in your background, behind you, in your ancestry, around money. So I want you to notice how it is when you look at money and when you look at this story around money. Maybe it's someone you know. Maybe it's your parents had a lot of money or have a lot of money. But maybe they don't use their money the way that you would like to. Or maybe you don't get any of it. Or maybe you don't want any of it. Or maybe they don't have money. And so that becomes your story too. Just notice how it is when you look at whatever this is that's in your family around money. In your ancestry. It might be 1 generation, 2, 3, 4, however many. There might be a repeating pattern for generations behind you. So even though I've got one thing here, yours might have a few layers. So just notice that too. And I want you to notice if it's easier to look here or if it's easier to look here. Your money or this story of money. And are they the same? The same feeling when you look here and when you look here. Maybe you're partway between this story and this story. Maybe you can identify more with this than you can with this. Or maybe because of this, you don't feel like you can have this. Just notice it all. Notice all these feelings that are coming up and maybe the stories that are coming up. Just notice it. And then I want you to notice if this is your money, and maybe it's smaller than you or there's not much of it, I want you to notice if that's the same story here, that this story was there was not much of it. And I want you to notice if they are actually the same thing. If actually this belongs here and this belongs here. They're actually the same thing. When you look at your money, you're actually feeling exactly this story. And if this story was maybe someone didn't have money or didn't have, or something happened with it, I want you to just notice that. And then I want you to notice behind it something behind it where that was a different story. So go further back beyond this story. Maybe before it wasn't money as such, but it was the same feeling of, freedom. Maybe freedom comes with money or whatever it is for you. So I want you to notice beyond this that you identify with, something bigger behind it. And notice what shifts for you when you look at this. And know that this is abundant behind the story that you know. There is plenty here, and it goes further back. Plenty. And notice how you're just maybe looking at this story and not at the plenty. Just notice it. Or maybe it shifted when you looked at the plenty. Maybe it made this one get a little bigger and stronger now that there was something behind it and supporting it. And now I want you to notice that story and what supports it, and now notice how it feels for you when you feel that behind you, that not only this story but something bigger behind it. And now notice how it is when you look at your money. And notice how it is if your money was big. And notice how it is if it came towards you. Just notice. Because we're not here to be sad and lonely and poor. That's not why we're here. We're here to learn what it is that we need to learn, and money's just energy. So just notice how it is when whatever this symbolizes for you comes closer. And also feel the support behind you of the story and whatever else is further back. Just notice. And then notice how it would be if it stood beside you. Does that feel better? Or maybe this side? Or maybe behind? Just notice wherever it is that feels better for you. And notice how it would be if you then look into your future here with this around you. If it feels any different. When it's with you, whether it be behind you, whether it be beside you, wherever it is that feels more comfortable for you. We're doing multiple at once, so I'm not sure where's the best place. I want you to notice how it is when you look at your future. And if anything changes, if this is around you. Or does it still feel like it's out there with your future? I want you to just notice. Even if it feels like it's still out there, I want you to just bring it in closer, and I want you to get a sensation in your body how it would be if it was this close to you and supporting you, or beside you, whichever way, wherever it is. Just notice. Just play with it. And notice that you can look back at the story that you know that maybe all the family's been telling. And you can also see that there's something more beyond that. And notice if you were getting confused between that story and your money. That story and your money. They don't have to be the same. Just notice. And notice how it is then when you look at your future. And now turn and look at that story of the money. And if it feels right, say, I got totally confused. I thought that was my story too. But I see that it's yours. I'm going to create my own story, my own future with my money. And imagine that whoever this is and whatever it is that happened in the past is absolutely blessing you and wanting you to have a different experience with money. And they don't want you to feel confused. And they like the fact that you're also seeing beyond them, behind them. Notice how it is now when you look at your money, and then back to the future. And then notice how it is when you move a step into your future. With the money.